Hey guys, welcome to Yesterday's Coffee, the podcast where we chat about fitness, nutrition, and business all over coffee that may or may not have been brewed yesterday. Today we are recapping and retouching on the original resolutions we set for ourselves at the beginning of this year. So I know it's July. I know you've never once thought about a New Year's resolution in July, but we're going to look back on what we set for ourselves this year.
If that's you, join the club.
And we're going to see just how well we did. So before we kick this off, where is your general feeling of how this year has started so far?
I'll be honest, I don't really remember what my resolutions were. I'm pretty sure it was just to get things together and get more organized, which I have not done. Yeah. So, I'm not exactly sure what we had originally talked about. So
I know I've accomplished a few things. I know I've definitely fallen off at a few things. But so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually listen back to ourselves.
We need a refresher.
Talking about this on this podcast and see exactly what it is that we had decided to do. So here we go. So have you taken time to set out some goals for yourself?
I do have some goals. Obviously, just kind of getting a little bit more organized in 2019 because we just moved into this house and we don't really have a system of organization yet. So I think that my biggest goal for 2019 is learning how to better organize our space and my life and my business and my health all together.
And get fully moved into.
Yes, but more has not happened. And putting more systems in place. My main goals are actually more about systems and processes than about resolutions or final results. So,
sure.
That would be my major goal.
Anything on the fitness end specifically? Or just kind of a holistic health view?
Well, obviously I always take a more broad general wellness view.
Sure.
But
is there any one thing in particular that this year I want to do this?
I don't have anything like that yet, to be honest. I need to get my
so you didn't set one
before I do that. so that's step one.
Sure.
Which involves, because obviously over the holidays, and we talked about it in a couple of podcasts ago, the fact that we, haven't really been super on track with our meals or meal planning or health in general. And I feel like I've done a decent job of being healthy. There are reasons for all of it, sure.
We'll get into it.
So I think I just need to get back to the basics, and I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. So I really want to go into 2019 with a balanced routine and not say, okay, I need to pick up where I left off 3 months ago.
Right.
I think I did that. Give my body some time to adjust and be just really
too much time
flexible and understanding in that process. Because again, I think that's another thing that doesn't come with resolutions is flexibility or the thought that
been plenty flexible.
I accomplished that goal.
You can reevaluate.
I've been very flexible. It doesn't have to be full steam ahead.
Right. It's not one of those things you miss one day and the year's
and then it's
shot.
Over. Exactly. Yeah. And people see it that way, I think. Which, again, isn't the problem with resolutions. It's just the problem with how people look at them.
Yeah. So we're jumping ahead a little bit. My resolutions.
Let's get to yours, Kyle. I wasn't going to just keep talking forever, okay. I promise.
Get you that coffee in the morning, man.
It's much needed today.
So my main thing, I got a few. I've got a few business-wise. I've got a few different projects I'm working on there that I'm looking to complete in the near future. I've got a few goals for the podcast itself and where I want to take that. And then fitness-wise, my main thing going into this year is really working on, seriously working on mobility, flexibility, and durability.
That's a good goal for you.
So, it's something that I've flirted with off and on, and it typically crops up whenever I have a little injury here or there. I'm you know what? I'm finally going to devote some time to this, and it never
happens.
Sticks.
Oh, the theme of resolutions.
And so it's never really been a resolution for me. It's been a goal, kind of half-heartedly along the way. But this year, I am really getting focused into yoga. Specifically, and so we've already done a couple yoga workouts so
Uh-huh.
far, and they've been really tough, but they've been really good. I put a little money into a program, so I've got a little bit more investment myself
so
there.
here's the thing. What you did. So let's talk about your resolutions
Yeah,
first,
I think
Kyle.
that's a deep enough dive into what we've done.
Which, by the way, that was a program that was 100 days of yoga, correct?
Yeah,
and that was your goal, was to do 100 days of yoga.
So let's preface where I was at, so context makes a big difference.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously the goal was to improve flexibility, mobility, durability, all these great things. So at the time, I had been going through a number of months where I wasn't really able to train very hard in any facet just because my joints were beat up. I felt like crap. I just didn't have energy to train. Part of that was my nutrition wasn't great. Part of that was all the craziness going on with us moving into this house. Plenty of excuses, tons and tons of excuses. But all in all, I really wasn't able to push myself in the gym. So that prompted me to start this yoga program, which was supposed to be yoga every single day for 100 days. I think at some point it transitioned to like maybe 5 days a week of yoga, something like that. And so I started off really strong, and it was really nice because
I feel like it was like 2 weeks though.
Yeah, well, so let me get there.
Okay.
So I started off really strong, and it was nice because it was finally a workout where I could push myself again, and I was actually getting through these really intense yoga workouts.
They're tough.
With feeling really good. So that was something that I hadn't been feeling or experiencing in the weight room for a long time. And then the primary reason it stopped is because I had surgery. In case you forgot about that. So I had
the primary reason it stopped. Let's not lie about it.
I had to take a month off. So I had surgery.
You weren't even doing it up until the surgery, though.
So I was doing it up until the surgery. And then, yes, I was. And then I had the surgery to take the bars out of my chest for my pectus. That's all done, all good. And then I
never got back to it.
So I had to take 3-4 weeks off of that to recover. And then I got back into yoga a little bit in that first month. But the primary reason that I fell away from it is because I had taken enough time off from the gym that I started to reintroduce that. And my workouts were actually feeling really good again. So, and as I can attribute to, I've gotten in much better shape than I was at the beginning of the year, which was one of my goals.
Sure.
And that's because I was able to get back into lifting 5-6 days a week. And so as a consequence of that, I did let the yoga fall by the wayside to some degree. Well, most degrees.
Up until about a month ago when he first broached the topic of doing this podcast. And so here we are a month later where he's done it more often.
No, so I've gotten at least one yoga session in every month of the year.
Every month? Okay, so one yoga session a month.
We'll get to your resolutions in a second.
I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm just saying let's be honest.
So I'm being completely honest. So I've been only doing a couple sessions here and there. Today, actually, just did another yoga workout because I'm actually going to take this entire week to do yoga as like a deload week, and
we did it really out in the heat.
Really had nothing to do with this podcast today. It was just kind of the way things lined up. So I'm going to be taking this next week to do it, and then I really do plan on keeping at least one day a week of yoga into my routine with another 5 days of lifting.
Well, and I will say that you have done, yes, I feel like you got really excited about feeling better and getting back to your normal training and focusing more on strength again and building that back up, that you lost a little bit of your recovery. But I think going into this new period of strength building, you've trained a lot smarter.
Yeah, and that's been a major part of it, too.
And you have been more regular about your off days and how you recover and just, like I said, just being smarter, training smarter.
Right.
So I have noticed that. So in that way, you did really do a good job and you succeeded. But
yeah, I mean, I'd say from an overall fitness perspective, I would give myself like a 75%. 3/4 has been really solid. My nutrition's been on point. Strength training's been on point. Cardio's been on point, and the yoga's kind of fallen off. So that last quarter.
Well, so I think going back to but your main resolution was about the recovery and the flexibility piece, and that has been the biggest piece that has been missing.
Sure, and it's in the context of I wasn't able to train, so I need to get back to that.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm able to train again, I'm not. There's still certain things I have limitations on. Still certain things that I play around with. But the main driver behind that resolution has helped me get back to where I am. I'm certainly not perfect, not claiming that I've stuck with it the way that I really intended to. Because out of those 100 days that I think we're supposed to be finished by April, not counting obviously the surgery time that I had to take off, but I think I've probably hit like 15 to 20 days in the year so far. So I want to make it 100
Putting it into
out of
perspective.
the whole,
yeah.
100 days out of the whole year might be a little bit more feasible for me. We'll see.
I think you
probably
could
won't even get there, but
I think you could do it.
We'll see.
If you did twice a week.
Let's see, what does that got me? That'd be another 52. I'd still be a little bit short.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be pretty good.
That'd be close. That'd be close.
If I keep it to twice a week, definitely at least once a week. But yeah, we'll see. So fitness wise, I feel pretty good. Business wise, just tacked off a really big goal of mine last month, and then I've got a few more that I'm working on for year end as a whole. And then project wise, I've completed some of those initial projects, and some of them are morphing. So I've been building and continuing on some of those. So overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with the way that things have gone in that respect. And then I think the third factor of what I was really focused on was this house. And it's coming along. I mean, there's a lot of
it's definitely
really
lower
good
on the
stuff
priority list, and it's slow going.
Yeah, it's mostly there. We've got a few big projects here coming up, but hopefully after July, the majority of them should be done. So I think in that front we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So let's dive into your goals. Let's talk about these.
So I'm going to level with you guys. I did a very terrible job this year, starting off the year and, getting to this point halfway through the year. I am not organized. That is probably one of my biggest flaws. It always has been. I love being organized, but getting organized is very difficult for me. And it has to do, I think it mostly has to do with me always putting work and my clients first. And so a lot of like the projects that I feel like I want to make, get through, and a lot of the stuff I want to do around the house always gets pushed to the end of my list when things, inevitably pop up on a daily basis that I feel are more important, or I have a really hard time focusing on anything else until they're done.
Sure.
So that's also something I struggle with, is like compartmentalizing things and being able to focus on getting through some of those projects that just like keep rolling over on my to-do list.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough. Like the nature of what we do is very much, what's the word? It's not set in stone.
No.
So it changes all the time. Our schedules are always different.
You have to be a little bit more dynamic and adapt to that, which still isn't an excuse. Like I should still set that time aside and be better about having a daily schedule to follow so I can actually build time in to get those other things done. That's like really what I need to do and what I have not done. So getting organized was a fail for me this year.
Well, so that's part of what this episode's all about.
I know, is let's bring awareness back to
you've
it.
Been sucking for the last 6 months. Let's reset.
If you forgot what your resolution actually was, let's revisit that. And I'm here with you.
You don't have to wait another 6 months to set another one.
Nope.
You can start today.
Here we are. This is good for me.
Yeah.
I needed this.
The half year reset.
Yeah, because you still have plenty of time left in the year. Like there's still so much time, and definitely enough time to turn things around. I would say I did a lot better on my secondary goal, kind of, sort of, which was to be more flexible with my goals and my approach to wellness in general. And I think I have done that. I did go through a detox program.
Yeah, your detox. That was really good.
This year that I had been putting off for a long time, and I really needed to get through, and that went well. And I felt like that really helped me reset, my health a little bit and get back on track with being more aware and listening to my body and not trying to set such a rigid routine just because I want to accomplish something, but actually connecting with myself a little bit more and being flexible in the way that I train and the way that I eat. So in that respect, I think I've been way more regular. I've been doing a better job of focusing on, nutrients versus macros, or versus like having a set, goal for the day. and just kind of going with my appetite and going with, what I feel like my body's needs are. And I've been doing the same thing with training. So I will say I'm not where I want to be with training. I want to have a little bit more structure to my week, but I've tried to do a better job of taking days off when I need days off, or pushing myself when I'm just feeling lazy and I don't actually need to take a day off.
Yeah.
So I think that I've been training a little bit smarter for my body too, and trying to focus on being a little bit more well-rounded. So not just focusing on strength or hypertrophy, but focusing on recovery and balance and stability and, all of those little things too.
Yep.
Because that's what I would like to get better at, is just supporting my health and being a functional human versus having these rigid like strength or aesthetic goals.
And that all comes down to planning and scheduling and organizing, right?
It does. And I think that part of my problem was I feel like I probably set two conflicting goals. Like one goal to be more organized and more structured, and then the other goal to be more flexible. So I see the problem with that now. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those goals. I think that it was just hard to do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to rein it in. I was actually telling Kyle the other day that I'm ready to get back to more structure with my training routine anyway. So I think this is a good time to phase into organizing my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I feel ready for it now. I don't feel so like overwhelmed by the thought of structure and like rigidity, I guess.
Second half of 2019. Time to get started.
So yeah.
I can't believe it's already the second half of 2019.
I can't, honestly, this year has flown by. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't done a better job, but I feel good with where I'm at personally. So
yeah,
it's just.
Can make good strides from here.
Yeah. Taking it to the next level now. Gotta make some progress on that other goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we want to make end of the year resolutions for ourselves right now, or did we already touch on that?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't really add anything to what I already wanted to accomplish, but I definitely am ready to get more organized and ready to have more structure. So my biggest goal is to come up with an actual daily and weekly schedule. Obviously, I understand that things can change and it can be flexible, but just having an outline for me to look at is helpful. So that, I think, is my biggest goal to work on next, and then sticking to that for the rest of the year.
Should we ask you next week if you've got that done?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I need some homework, I guess.
You need some homework?
I need some accountability.
So yeah, I'll ask you next week.
Okay.
We'll see if it's done.
Okay, now I'm nervous. Okay. I'm going to have to set a reminder on my phone.
Now she's actually going to have to do it.
I know, I really do.
And then my goal for myself, I'm not going to get into like business specifics or stuff like that. Everything's going pretty well from the fitness standpoint, like I talked about. But again, the yoga, the mobility side is where I really want to bring more of that focus back to. So I want to get at least 30 more sessions in through the rest of the year. So that's a little bit more than 1 week. So I've got 26 weeks. Yeah. So at least 4 of those, I've got to have a doubled week. And then if I miss anything, I've got to double up after that. So 30. I'm gonna start tallying. Okay. And then I'll keep a tally reported on each of these.
That's great. Let's do it.
That sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
You could use it.
Yeah. I definitely could. I was holding my own out there today.
You did really good today. Today we did a balance flow.
Balance yoga.
Which was really good. Kyle was doing great. I think you're very well. You're stable, you know?
I'm not flexible, but I can keep my body in one spot.
Not great, but yes, you can definitely balance your body, which is good. So that's step 1.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the point of this whole video was to say, hey, if you haven't thought about your resolutions since you set them in January, here's your reminder.
It's okay to restart.
Yeah, it's okay to restart. It's okay for those goals to change over the course of the year, and you can restart now. That you don't have to wait. I mean, coincidentally, we're recording this at the beginning of a new month.
Yeah, July 1st.
Again, that doesn't mean that you have to wait till a new week or a new month to start over. Like, you can wake up on a Wednesday and make a new goal for yourself and stick to it. So, yeah, revisit those goals and know that you're not alone.
You're in the vast majority.
You are the vast.
If you're not
we are the
doing
vast
what you're
majority.
doing.
Yes, it's okay. You can just refocus and
hey, if you're watching this and you're like, I am on top of it,
then congratulations. Good for you.
Kudos to you.
I'm so happy for you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's never too late to restart. So
yeah, use this as your reset, get reinvigorated, re-energized, and go attack the second half of 2019.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you've got anything you'd like us to cover in the future, feel free to reach out to myself at hypertrofit.com. You can find Alexa at therootedrd.com, and we will see you guys again next week.
And we'll see you guys next week.